Welcome to another episode of the Ramblings of a Designer podcast. This is a weekly podcast where we talk about the latest in graphic design news from around the web. My name is Adam. I'm a freelance designer from the San Francisco Bay Area. I specialize in visual UI design with a little bit of illustration. I like to give companies character. And every week I'm joined by my co-host Terry. Terry, how you
Hey,
doing?
hey, Adam. Thank you so much. And it'll be the last of 2018. I'm very excited. As Adam said, my name is Terry. I'm a UX UI designer from the Bay Area who helps bridge the gaps between products and their end users.
Awesome. So this episode is going to be very different. Pretty much no news. This is going to be our end of the year kind of recap. And it's going to be a little weird because we've only been doing the podcast for like half of a year. And so
Yeah,
it's going to be like a half of a year recap. But anyways, I
6
guess
months.
to start off, we always like to start off with how our week was last week. So Terry, how was your week last week?
It was good. I'm still getting ready to take my web development class with Kerfounding. I was actually on Slack last night, kind of late, talking to somebody about web development. So he was spewing off, oh yeah, PHP and the backend server and like validations. I'm like, I kind of know those words. I hear them a lot. They're like buzzwords, but I don't know exactly what they really, really mean because when I work with other developers, they're, singing and seeing all those like keywords. So other than that, week was good. Just very, very busy. Just working on my turkey project a little bit as well too. So that keeps going, but I'm kind of stuck. But I need to do a little bit more research on that. But other than that, not too bad. How about you, Adam?
Yeah, I've been kind of I don't know. It's kind of weird because I feel like I'm waiting for the holidays so I could get a break, but I don't have a break like I've had in the last couple years. So my breaks they're going to be shorter this year, but I'm still like, oh yeah, if I could just get that time off. And then I'm kind of worried because I feel like I'm relying on the time off just to take a break, and then I'm gonna like be stuck in that mode for the next year. I'm just gonna like stay because like I feel like I have the itis, and I don't want to have the itis for like
Oh, don't have the itis.
for the
Don't have
next
the
year.
itis. Oh,
Yeah.
that's terrible. That's terrible. That's terrible news. No itis. No itis.
But still drawing. I've been finding myself drawing a lot more, which is great. I have the iPad Pro and the pencil, and the pencil always dies on me, so
You
I have
gotta
to check.
charge it.
Yeah, which kind of sucks because it seems so weird about having to charge a pencil, but so I'm not really caring for that because I get like midway through a drawing and then I have to like stop. But yeah, so I've been doing that, and then work is coming in, so. I'm doing my freelance work that's coming in still. I got stuff this week, and at the end of the week or by next week, I'm gonna be working on my other project that I have going on too. So a lot of side stuff this month, which is pretty cool. A good way to end the year working. But
Nice. Nice.
that's it. I mean, that's pretty much it going on this week. So instead of how was your week last week, Terry, since it's 2018, we're wrapping it up. How was your year this year?
Oh my God. That's like a loaded question. If you're going, on your first date and somebody asks you, so how was the date? You're like, right? No, just joking. Yes, definitely 2008, the year, I learned a lot. I got my butt kicked a little bit here and there, but that was okay. But mainly what I told myself is I would say yes to everything. I would volunteer to do this, or I would volunteer to do that to help set up some kind of event, help somebody with their project, even though I may not know how to do it, but I just said yes, 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 yes. And I learned so much, just so much. Going to conferences, doing presentations, talking to other people. People have been reaching out to me about how they can get started. in UX, or what is UX, or so what is everybody talking about? So it was good. I'm looking forward to continue learning in 2019. I just have to be super motivated even more because there's just so much to do, and I just want to do a lot of things. So yeah. How about you, Adam?
Yeah, this year is probably the biggest year I've ever had ever. And I guess a lot of it just had to do with me finally kind of making the decision to go branch out and to go contract, which is something I always wanted to try. And I kept on kind of hinting at it and like telling people, hey, should I do this? Should I contract? Should I go freelance? Like what do you think? And everyone was saying, yeah, if you want to go ahead, like who's stopping you?
That's funny.
And so I finally was like, I'm gonna go out and try it. And so in the beginning of the year, started out unemployed, which was not too great. I was super scared and definitely feeling it, like not financially, just like
Scared.
just scared of like, hey, what if I never get a job again? Oh my God. Like I was like getting ready to fill out my retail applications and
Oh,
go
that's
to
not
the
gonna
local mall.
That's not gonna
But
happen.
yeah, but luckily,
No,
you
there's
know,
no luck. You're a very talented individual.
oh, awesome. Well, thank you. Fortunately, I got very
Fortunately.
lucky.
Oh my God.
I was
Stop
able
with
to
the
get
negative.
I was able to get a big contract that kept on extending, and so extended to the whole rest of the whole year. So I started in February, and I've been going on, and it'll probably end in this upcoming February. But that's fine. But because like I was amazed I was even able to get something like that. So
That's
that was
awesome.
amazing. Yeah, like
Yeah.
that was amazing. And I also just in, involved myself so much in design this year. Like just starting the podcast for design. So I was
Yeah.
forced to read as much more design news than I've ever before. So before I felt like I guess I was just like a casual design person that worked in the industry, but I was like, man, now I'm like in it.
In
Like
it to win it.
I'm reading so much and trying to learn so much. I don't have time to learn anything, but trying to read, trying to just I don't know, just trying to learn as much as I can.
Yep.
And I had one big goal this year, which was to start a freelance company, like from soup to nuts. So I applied for the paperwork. I got a business license to become a freelancer, and I've done it. And so I have one client, which is fine because that's all I need. But one of the biggest things I did learn is that so trying to freelance on the side, it's super difficult. There's only one of me to go around, and I only have so much time in the day. And so that was pretty challenging, which is why I really only tried and stuck with the one client because it just took too much time. I was trying to do so much side work that I didn't have time for anything else. And then I was struggling to get things done. And then I was like, I don't know, it was pretty stressful. And there was really no need for the stress. And so I have my one client, which I'm happy with. And luckily that's been working out pretty good. And yeah, like that's been amazing. So overall the year was just insane for me because I've never done so much in one year before. It was super productive. Usually I have a list of like things I really want to learn every year. This year I wrote it down too. So every year I make I write myself a letter of like what I want to accomplish. And one of my goals this year was to learn JavaScript, which I didn't do.
That's
Another one,
okay.
yeah, another one was to learn 3D, which I also didn't do as much. I do have some experience. I have modeled, done some 3D modeling, but I wanted to get more into it. I didn't, but that's fine. But the other one was to start the business, and so I feel like I've succeeded with that in spades. And like I would say, if I had a steady gig, where I don't have to worry about what my next gig was. it'd be a lot easier to focus on all this side stuff. But since I didn't have that, I didn't. So, but that's fine. I mean, everything else worked out great, and so I'm super happy with how the year went. And so
Yeah.
I'm only hoping that next year comes better.
No, you're not gonna hope. It is.
Yeah,
It
yeah, okay.
it
Next
just
year is gonna be even awesomer.
it is
Ugh.
gonna be. It's even gonna be more productive because UX it's a hot topic, man. It keeps branching out into new segments or new case studies or new themes or just something. It always takes. I don't know what it is. It to me it's like magic because you know when you go see a magic show, right? And you're like, oh crap, how do they do that? That's so cool. Or or when you read an article, or when you find something through Twitter, or when you find something through LinkedIn, you're all, oh, that's cool. Wow. I didn't know about that. You learn something. It's so huge. And that's why I love it a lot. I love what I do and I'm grateful for what I do.
That's awesome.
So
So we have a quick list. I mean, this is probably going to be a very short episode, but we have a top four things. So it's the top link of the year, the biggest story, the biggest trend, and what our biggest gripe of the year is, because we like to talk about our gripes. So to start off, Terry, what would you say is the biggest link of the year?
I thought the biggest link was actually, oh boy, the thing went. It was actually designnotes.co because that was the first time that I found that had everything on there. It was really wonderful. If I want to look up something UX, there was something UX there. If I wanted to look up something where to find images, it was right there, or production, or whatever the app or whatever the software was. And then I just thought, I was like, oh, everything's like right at your fingertips. You know, get there quicker, faster, find your information, in and out, in and out. So I thought that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I have to agree. That was pretty great. Like the idea of having like I have that on my tabs that pop up whenever I open a new tab. I
Yeah, me
have a
too.
series of tabs that happen. Yeah. So one's my email, one's like my calendar. But one of them is always that design notes because yeah, I use just the resources it gives you. Like for example, the stock images. It has all the list of all the different stock image sites. So I literally have to open a new tab, a new window, and then I open all those tabs, and then I search for my images that way. And so yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's really
so
nice.
I'm super happy you showed me that designer notes and design notes, and I definitely use that like pretty much if not
It's a pretty
daily, every
process.
other day. Yeah, and so but I mean I think that's really the only thing I use it for is for that, and there's a bunch of other stuff on there, but I only use it for that. I think mainly. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, but just to have that alone
Yeah.
is awesome.
Yeah. So Adam, so what was your top link of the year?
I know. I couldn't really think of one that. So I cheated a little bit. For me, mine is the Material IO site, and
Okay.
they're specific. They have specifically their tools tab, and it's not it didn't come out this year, but they did update it a lot this year, and
Oh, all
so
right.
they came out with their new version. I guess it's like Material Design 2 that they came out, but they introduced a lot of other new things. So like they came out with their own sketch plugin that is their material theme editor. So you can so they have this thing called themifying, and it pretty much allows you to have consistent colors and consistent like shape design
Oh,
throughout
that's
all your
cool.
projects. Yeah, and so you download the plugin and you're able to themify your project with ease. And so they've just been adding a lot of stuff lately, and I definitely use Material IO like a lot, especially like I love their color tool too. So if I'm ever kind of starting out, well, whenever I'm starting out a layout, like if it's like for a new client or um, I like to right away use their color thing. It's not under the tool section. I think it's somewhere, kind of it's somewhere throughout their design pages that they have, but they have this thing where you could plug in a color, and then they'll tell you like where it falls on its like one to, like from how would I explain it? Well, it gives you the range it'll give you the range of like tints and shades for that color. And so you could plug in like one color and you'll get a whole set of like 9 or 10 shades of that color. So you could pick the color that you want. Like it'll give you the whole library. And so I'll do that for a couple of colors. And so that way I have like a full range of colors if I need to. And so if I only have like 1 or 2 colors to go off of, I'll go off of that. And then I'll use their color tool, plug that into the color tool, and then it'll whip out just some quick layouts so that I can see if I could use it or not, but I'll see kind of just what different color variations I can do if I have like blue as my dominant color and like yellow as my secondary color. Oh, okay. It gives me 6 maybe layouts I can try using these colors. And so that's kind of like why I really love using it. But yeah,
Cool.
let's see. That was the top link of the year. What would you say is the biggest story of the year?
So you're asking me what I think the
Yeah.
biggest story is.
Yes.
I think the biggest story and that I've seen and have people contacted me either email or just Slack or LinkedIn is basically how do you present yourself either in an interview or when you're meeting somebody new or when you want to get information about something to find something and you're not sure and you find a person like, oh my God, I see this person is a senior designer or this person is an art director or is a director that's been in the business for about 10 plus years. How do I say, hey, over here, me? So I've done that a lot of myself. I said yes to everything. I'm not afraid anymore to reach out to like the biggest names, send them an email, Twitter, whatever, and it works. So I would say that is the biggest story. Is basically how to present you. It's all about you as an individual.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I like that. Let's see. For me,
Yeah. How about you?
Like I said, we've only been covering this for about 6 months, and then really only really getting better at it the last like week, like the last couple months. So for me, I would say the biggest story is XD becoming free. Only
That's
because
awesome.
I think like, yeah, especially I would say the last couple of years, maybe 3, 4 years, Sketch has definitely been a very dominant software, and I I can definitely see XD now that it's being free. Either there starts to be a big stir in the community about which software to use, or a lot of the students in college, they're going to start using XD because their professors are going to recommend it because it's free. And so then the whole tide is going to shift to XD eventually. Or that, or everything is going to start becoming freer or cheaper. And so, like I said, I always like things cheap or free. And so whatever I feel like, either way, it's a win-win for us. And so XD being free is going to be crazy now. And then they're also incorporating voice. They need to get better animation, but other than that, I think that's awesome. What do you
Cool.
think?
Yeah, I think definitely. I think Photoshop. Photoshop. Oh my gosh. Adobe is coming back. I think they had a lot of, I don't say flops, but a lot of apps that
Mhm.
kind of good, kind of not good. But XD seems to. I haven't tried it out myself, but I'm dying to. But I just haven't had the time yet. Hopefully, maybe a couple months. Just kind of check it out. So
Yeah, one thing that is I've noticed time and time again. So they have pretty good video editing, audio editing, video like After Effects video, like animation tools and special effects, but they really lack in like things like 3D. They do have 3D tools, but not a really cohesive tool. Like they have Adobe Fuse, which lets you create characters. They have Adobe Dimensions, which lets you mock up things, but they don't really have like a really good 3D creation tool. And so I really hope that they can do something with that like soon. I really would want them to do something because I have, I'm paying for the software. So if I could get a free, I mean, not a free, but an additional 3D software that I can use, that'd be great. Because right now people go to like Cinema 4D, they go to Maya, and they go to Blender even. But if they could just get like one simple one, hopefully maybe something that's simpler to use, maybe something along the lines of like SketchUp. When Google had SketchUp for a while, now it's a different company got it. But like something like that, I think would be great. Because like I just need something that I could mock up the shapes and then bring it into Photoshop to finish it off or something, like something like that. Or, be able to like create a simple figure. I'm not saying like full 3D rendering capabilities like you can with Maya or Nuke or whatever, but just something
God, that's
yeah, but just
crazy
something where you
stuff.
could make simple things out of.
I'm
That's
sure
what I'm
they
hoping.
have something out there. You just have to look.
I guess they do have a library. Their stock images, so you could buy already made stock stuff. I know.
Eh,
Yeah, like they have
but if
other.
you want to make your own, though, I think too, because that's the whole enjoyment of like art
Yeah,
making or making something. It's the process
yeah,
of doing something.
because they do have 3D in Photoshop, but I mean, you could do very little. You could like revolve objects to make spheres or like wine glasses, very very symmetrical, maybe cylindrical shapes, and then they have the extrude to make just like text look 3D, but it's still and they give you a lot of good additional features. Like they'll let you materialize it, like add your own material on it, and then add a bunch of lighting effects if you want. But it's close, but it's it's you can't really do much after that. So that's the only thing that kind of sucks.
Yeah,
Oh well. So yeah, I'm expecting XD to be the I'm expecting it wasn't big this year that it was free, but in what's to come, I think will be big.
yeah. No, we
Awesome.
just have to wait and see. That's
I
all.
know.
I know. Talking about what's big,
Sweet.
drum roll. This is the big one, I think.
What?
What is the biggest trend for 2000 or what was 2018 and for next year, 2019?
Yeah. Let's see. I say to be honest that for me, what I've noticed is that a lot of companies were really, really showing their showing that they're unique through their illustration. And so I really felt
And
good.
can I cut you off?
Yeah.
I was going to say that, and I looked at the list. I'm like, God darn it, he beat me to
Yeah.
it. Oh, well, that little stinker. Anyway, continue. But
Yeah.
I have to agree with you.
I definitely saw illustration being humongous this year. A lot of companies, so
I mean,
they,
humongous. It was huge.
yep.
It was more than huge. A lot of, yeah, like you said, MailChimp,
Mm-hmm.
Slack.
Mm-hmm.
Who else?
I can't remember.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I can't remember. But because I definitely remembered Mailchimp and Slack, and so I was like, oh, other than that, I can't remember. But yeah, like so everybody came out with the font this year for some reason, and but what we saw is that all these fonts are pretty much a sans serif, very very similar. You couldn't, you'd have to really squint at it to spot the differences and what they were like really doing, and how they relate. Like I couldn't tell you how Uber's font was different from like I don't know, like Google Sans right now or Roboto, but And so I feel like in order to compensate, like all these companies were really just being creative with their illustrations throughout. And so for me, I felt like that was humongous. Um, for trends for 2019, I I feel like motion is going to be a big thing. So either motion in typography, more more animation in characters, having characters animate. I feel like that's going to be like a big thing, and just motion in general. So I feel like motion is going to be everywhere next year. Our eyes are going to be, you know how like when the internet first started, and everything was a GIF everywhere with like the dancing Jesus and like the flying toasters, the dancing baby. We didn't know what we were doing in the early 90s of web design.
Oh my God, that's
We were
funny. Tables.
we were harassing the eyes with the visuals and repeated patterns everywhere. Well, I feel like that's going to kind of come back, but where like every icon is going to be animated, to some extent. There's going to be a lot of motion coming up.
I think it's going to be subtle. I don't think it's going to be like really, really huge, but it's just going to have the user experience a lot more delightful and a lot more patient and soothing and calming, I think.
Yeah. What about you,
So,
Terry? What do you think?
I think, as I said before, and I'll say it again, storytelling. I think that is one of the biggest key in anything we do. If we're trying to tell a story to our clients, or if we're interviewing, you need to tell them a story. You need to tell how you got to point A to point Z, and I really make them feel that they are part of the story. They're part of the picture. But not only that, but also too, it comes around with data. Data is key, and that's going to be huge for companies, because if we don't gather the data, what we need to do our app or to do our project, then who are we really building it for? So I think two things: storytelling and data is still going to push the apps, push what voices or what augment reality is, and then it's all gonna intertwine with each other for sure.
Awesome. Yeah.
So anyways, our last is the biggest gripe of the year. So Adam, what is your biggest gripe of the year for 2018?
Now, I'm gonna get a lot of hate, but you talked earlier about how UX was it's just segmenting and it's this awesome thing. For me, it's still a little bit too Wild West out there. Like for example, I had somebody on Slack. They were looking for, I can't find it now because it's a little bit past, but they're looking for I believe it was like a learning UX designer. And yeah, and so I think what they said was that a learning UX designer was a combination of an educational designer and a UX researcher. And my comment was like, is there a chart to tell me what all these titles and how they break down? Because how do you keep track? Like, how does anybody know what's going on out there?
But that's the biggest thing, is some companies, they don't know what UX really does, or maybe they do, or maybe they think they do, or every company is different. Even people think mock-ups. What's a mock-up? What's a final design? What's wireframes? Everybody has their own definition of what it is. So,
Yeah, but
right?
then like how do you know if let's say you're a company and you're like, oh man, this UX thing is really big. We really need a UX person on here. But like, oh, what UX person do we get? Do we get this um, experienced designer, this experimental designer, this regular UX designer,
Service designer? There's a
learner
service
UX?
designer now.
How do
There's
I
a
know which
research
one to
designer.
choose? You know what? Let me ask Adam, our designer. Hey, Adam, if we need a UX person here, which one of these do you pick? And I'll be like, I don't know what the difference is.
Again, it really depends what the company needs at that time because things change, projects change
Mhm.
all the time. So as a designer, you just have to be kind of like a surfer, just kind of go with the waves go and just be
Yeah.
open and change and learn, pick up different skill sets to put in your toolbox.
But then let's say, okay, so and I fully admit that this could also come from maybe some jealousy on my end from not being in the UX community and trying to keep up with it because I thought I was going to be a product designer. Um, but now I don't even know what I want to be going for, like what fits my bill. And so, that's the part where it frustrates me because if I'm trying to rebrand myself to to learn different offerings, I don't know what to learn because because and you're saying that people don't know what we do, what UX does. I was like, I'm in the industry relatively as close to it as possible, and even I'm confused about what's going on, you
Yeah,
know.
it of like I said before, it's definitely a hot topic. Everybody has their own opinions and their own ideas of what UX is. I mean, somebody they can take 2 hour course or maybe go to a workshop and say, "Hey, I'm a UX designer." I mean, that might happen. I mean, who knows? And there's nothing wrong with that either. It just again, it's about the individual. It's about the individual's story of what they want to do, and B, what they want to achieve. So, I mean,
Hmm.
going back again, each company is different. Each art director is different. They think UX is B, or they think UX is Q or S, decimal point, purple elephant, whatever it is. But what I'm trying to say is it's UX is so big that there's always room for more people,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
So
and I think too, if you just the more you can fit into your tool belt, like you're gonna
exactly.
evolve into this weird amalgamation of
Yeah.
of
That's
design.
I mean, I'll probably get a lot of haters too, because a lot of people say, well, you should specialize in one thing and then be specialized in that, because if you learn all these things, then you're not going to be good in any of them. Well, I mean, I agree and then I disagree. So, I mean, it's kind of like of a black, white, muddy color mix in the middle with that. But again, it's about the person. I keep going back to the person, to their goals, and what is their journey. Who cares what anybody else thinks? Who cares what, hoopla, whoever, it doesn't matter. It's about that person. So what can they bring to the table? What is their background? How does UX fit within what they want to do?
Yeah, I definitely agree that um, being a generalist versus a specialist is definitely your personal preference. A
Right.
design team, if you go into like a studio or an agency, a design team is going to look for um, both, right? They're going to look for just a generalist that can hop in and hop out on any other project, and then they'll have their specialists for what they need. Oh, do you need a website? Do you need an app? Okay, well, we're going to give it to our website specialist here because he's the main person. He can be supported by or they can be supported by the generalist. And then if not, okay, we have our app. Let's give it to our app person. Bada bing, bada boom. Like it makes sense. You'll As long as you're in it, you'll find your home of where you fit within a team. Especially if you work in a team.
Yeah. See, you're in it to win it. I'm
And it.
not sure where I heard that from. It's kind of goofy, but anyways, yeah. So it's a wilderness out there, but enjoy the jungle and enjoy the search. And I think that's a positive view to look at it.
So Terry, what's your biggest gripe of the year?
Oh my God. I think I said this in the last podcast. So much to learn in little time, but that's okay because you want to learn everything, which that's okay. But if you have a goal, learn that skill set first. Do that for 1 or 2 years, or maybe a year and a half, until you feel comfortable enough. You can stand on your own 2 feet, say, you know what? I'm okay at this. I have confidence. And then you move on to the next one. That is the secret that I actually learned this past year.
Mm.
There's all the stuff that I want to learn, right? But what's the order of that? And that will come naturally to you. Don't force it. It will just happily just, oh, let's do this. Oh, okay. And you just kind of mosey in that, in that direction. And once you get a lot better within 6 months to a year, and when you feel confident, oh, and then you mosey over there. So that's what kind of happened to me this past year with that. So that's it for me.
For me, what's worked for me, although it didn't work with the JavaScript because, well, I'll get into that. But for me, what I do, which has worked overall, is to give myself projects that force me to learn those things. So, for example, I wanted to learn just more about design, more about speaking in public speaking, to give presentations, more about just different audio and video editing. So you know what I did? I started a podcast.
Yes, you did.
To help me learn all these things.
Yeah, and I still remember the day I got a phone call from you. Hey, want to do a podcast? Well, come on. Well, let me. So I had to do a little research and make sure I can fit it in. And we found a great time, and now we're doing it weekly.
Yeah, it's weird, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of nice actually.
Yeah, and so the next goal. So then I was like, great, that's great. So then the next goal was to learn JavaScript, but like I couldn't find a project that I can do consistently to get me learning more of it. So I would literally have to do like a I would have to have a website, something that I could maintain. I have a Squarespace one, and so that one you don't code. And so for 2019, one of my goals is to do more web design stuff.
Oh, nice. I'll be right behind you.
Yeah. But I mean, you're going to be way far along than I am, because I'm mainly going to be focusing on more of WordPress stuff, and then that way I'll have a site, but I get to do my little little tweaks in it. And
the finger action is going, everybody that can't see you. It's kind of like when you watch that GIF or on LinkedIn of the cat go tick 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 tick.
My little fingers are going. Yeah, my little fingers, my little typing fingers. Yeah. So I'm gonna definitely be working on a website, if not maybe two, because one big goal of mine I mentioned was to switch my portfolio onto WordPress, and so I'm gonna be doing that. That's gonna be a big project. Awesome. Yeah, and then the next one is to maybe work on something else. So we'll see.
Well, just do one thing at a time. Remember, I said, one thing at a time, because I think if I want to do this and this and this, we get discouraged, and then we see nothing happening, and then we fall a little bit back. So focus on one thing and just keep activated on that. So like I said, I'm right behind you. I'm taking the Career Foundry course starting January 7th. I'm already like reading articles and like I have no idea what this means, but that's okay. I've been trying to be very active on their web development Slack channel and just poking, talking to anybody who wants to talk. And just kind of find out more, how this works or how that works and stuff, and just get a overall view how other developers or future developers work and their style and their thinking and stuff.
Yeah, so, it's great to ping stuff. Like, so often I find myself in like the Reddit design forums, and
that's cool.
Yeah, I'm just there like, and mainly answering questions. that like younger designers have, but in the process I get to see other people's answers, and then there's a discussion, and so I'm like, oh, that's great. Like I love having
Yeah.
that discussion, and I'm
Content.
like, oh yeah, I guess you could do that way too. Oh, that's cool, because then I learn stuff along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Content is cool, and content is key. We all need content and data for sure.
But yeah, I mean, I guess that's it. This is
Yeah,
our
that's it. This is
short and sweet, I hope.
the last podcast of 2018, and from my house to everybody out there on the podcast wave, Mele Kalikimaka, that means Merry Christmas in Hawaiian. And yeah, have a fabulous holiday. Oh, and then Happy New Year too, of course.
Yeah.
You can't forget that.
Yeah, and if you're listening to this one during Christmas break, more power to you. You have all this free time.
Yeah, exactly. Let us know.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be using that time to play with all the new toys that I got.
Yes.
And then all my kids' toys. I'm like, oh, you got that new Lego set? Let's put it together.
Yeah, let's break it out.
Here,
All right.
what you tell me what to do, and I'll put it together, and you read the instructions for me.
Sounds good. So
Terri, where can we find you on the internet for 2018?
2018, 2019. Oh my gosh. Future, dude. Future. Yeah, you can definitely find me on Twitter, and my handle is Flaxenink, FLAXENINK. How about you, Adam? Where can they find you at?
You can also find me on Twitter at Adan Zepeda. That's AdanZepeda, and on Instagram at adanz.designs. Although I've been really slacking. Actually, I'm not that great on social media. I'm trying. I go on.
I love Twitter.
I'm on Twitter every day, and I'm reading the stuff, and I'm trying to interact with people, but I don't know how to use Twitter. So if you can find me on Twitter, give me some tips, because I know that you could like
ask them a question.
Yeah, like I know you could like you have a hashtag, and then you that's like forms a thread, but then how do you find these hashtags? Are you just searching for stuff? How do you know where the latest trends are? I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. It's not that clear.
Okay.
Yeah, there's too much stuff out there that it's kind of hard to find. But whatever.
Well, that's why I just have Twitter and LinkedIn. That's it. That's all that I have on social media besides my website.
Yeah. All right.
Keep it simple, man. Keep it simple.
From happy holidays, and hopefully you guys have hopefully everybody has a great holiday.
Yep. Aloha. Bye.
Bye.